Hi, and welcome back to Distilled 405. I'm Dan, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Joseph Magnus single barrel bourbon whiskey, straight bourbon whiskey. I found this bottle in Branson, Missouri at a liquor store called Macadoodles. And this was a store pick of Joseph Magnus bourbon. It's bottled at 57.94% ABV. I believe it's non-chill filtered and natural colored. And it's bottle 20. Let's see what it says on the bottle, if it says anything interesting. Distilled in Indiana, bottled by Joseph Magnus and Company in Washington, D.C. So the distillery, or the blending house, as I would call it, or bottling house, is in Washington. I don't know a lot about the history of Joseph Magnus. I think it's an old brand that they might have revived. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. And I think that, I know for now they're sourcing all their whiskey from Indiana, MGP. I think they're using their own mash bill that they picked. And I believe they're working on distilling their own juice. I could be wrong, but I think they are. And I think that the bottling of MGP juice is simply an interim type thing that a lot of distilleries do while they're waiting on their own juice to age. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the case. Either way, it's an awesome looking bottle. It was a great price, especially for Joseph Magnus. I know some of them go for a lot higher. And some of them, like the original Joseph Magnus, is finished. I think it's finished in maybe 3 casks, like cognac, sherry, and port maybe. This one is not finished. This is just a straight single barrel pick of essentially MGP bourbon, bottled by Joseph Magnus at cask strength. Either way, I typically really like MGP bourbon. I know it gets a lot of knocks from people because a lot of people use it for sourcing, but I think a lot of people use it because it's really good. And especially when you're waiting on your own juice to age, it's not bad. And I think they're very underrated. I think they do very good work, and I think they are able to produce a very, very good whiskey. And either way, it fits my palate very well. So I typically pick up MGP type stuff, and I don't let that hinder me, especially if it's finished in a cool cask or done in a cool way. I like that. The smell on this, for 54%, I think it was, is extreme, or 57, wow, almost 57.9%, wow. For that high of an ABV, it's very restrained on the nose. I mean, the smell is a luxurious bourbon smell. It smells old. It smells rounded. There's nothing, for almost 60%, nothing is jumping out. Nothing's punching you in the face. It's very reserved, very well rounded, very well put together. Charlie, sorry, my dogs. Hey, hush. Hush. We've got Yorkies, and everybody knows Yorkies are super chatterboxes. I should offer them some bourbon. Just kidding. That's a joke. Wow, the nose is excellent. And the first thing I get, the first note I get, and I love, is cherries. Some of my favorite bourbons have cherry notes, and I think I said in another review, black licorice. And I get major cherry. I would compare this to, on the nose, Eagle Rare, which was one of my favorite just baseline go-to bourbons. I know it's getting harder to find, but I think it's an absolutely phenomenal bourbon. And Eagle Rare, I always get this nice cherry red fruit note, which I love in whiskey, period. Usually I pick out ones that have that. And this has that in spades. I almost would think that it's almost a wine finished bourbon. I know it's not, but I almost get that. It's so much red fruit that it's almost like a port cask finish type smell. So I get red fruits. I get a little twinge of black licorice, a little pepperiness, a little bit of star anise, some caramel, some toffee, not much vanilla. The fruit is definitely taking the place of a typical vanilla in a bourbon. But the nose is very restrained, and I have no idea what the age is on this. I don't think they say, but it smells older to me. And I've had some older. I've had one of the bourbons I love is the Wild Turkey Master's Keep, which is 17 years old, and this is reminiscent of that. It really is. Let's give it a taste and see what we get. Man. That is phenomenal. Powerful. The punch in the mouth is there for the ABV, that 59% or whatever it was. Keep forgetting. 57.9. It's there, but it's not overpowering. It's still very complex. There's a lot going on. Immediately get those red fruits on the palate. Long finish. The age, it seems aged significantly for sure. Well put together, complex. It makes you want to drink more. Let me try it again. Immediately you get more bourbon up front, more typical bourbon flavors. The vanilla there, the caramels, the toffees, the brown sugars, and then that gives way to that cherry note. It's more on the mid palate. And then that cherry note slowly subsides on the finish. Very long finish. Juicy, not dry, very juicy tannin. It's got tannins, almost like wine tannins, probably from the oak. What a well put together whiskey. Absolutely, and this just goes to show how good MGP can be. I know Joseph Magnus has elite whiskey people working for them. Nancy Fraley is one of them, very famous in the whiskey circles. She knows how to pick casks. I'm guessing she had a part to play in putting this together. I know it's a barrel pick from Macadoodles or whatever it's called in Branson, but it is a well put together whiskey, and they're not putting that label on something that's junk. It is phenomenal whiskey. I highly recommend it. This is rare. I know it's hard to find. I get that. I got lucky. I think I paid 55 or 60 bucks for this. It was so cool. I bought 3 bottles on the spot, and man, am I glad I did. It is phenomenal whiskey. It's obviously a single barrel, so it could taste different than what you've got. But if you see Joseph Magnus, I'm sold. I mean, if you can get it for a good price, this is a phenomenal whiskey. Very complex, very well put together. I think it's absolutely delicious as long as you can find it for a fair price. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll get more content to you. Thanks for watching. Cheers.